Someone shot the food. Life force flooding out.
Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, August the 30th, 2021. Summer is almost over, but Mr. Video Games back here for you. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Slacker Kite. I am here to push the buttons, make stream do, and we are here today for you. Well, I say we are here. Wonder Boy, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here. I'm a whatnot. I did not know that I was in threat of disappearing from this ethereal plane. Although sometimes that would be a welcome
I
thing.
got scared. Discord showed you as offline. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Discord hates me.
Well,
Love you, Discord. The service hates me.
that's 2 weeks in a row that my whole introducing people has gone awry, so screw it. We're just dropping in now, because I don't trust anything anymore, so of course returning with us, you've already heard him, you know him, you love them. It's Brian, aka Wonder Boy. Yeah.
Yes, I am returned. I am here. Discord cannot stop me. Damn it.
It tries to hold everyone
I shall
down.
prevail. Love you. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm doing all right. It's been a day. It's been a weekend. It's been a. Whew. We won't get into all of that though, because there's plenty of video game stuff to talk about. Yeah.
I could
Anyway,
imagine. And of course,
we'll
returning
talk
with
more
us.
off air.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Returning with us, as always, the caretaker, I would say, at least of myself, if not all of us here at Dead Sun. It is Lady Merowyn, Lindsay, however you want to call her.
So does this mean that I've earned my title as stream mom?
I don't know about all that. That's I'll leave it up to chat to debate whether you are officially stream mom or not. Or what is there of chat right now. I think I said hi to the group, but we got other people here.
I will say this. I will second the nomination. Because I sure as hell am not a stream parent in any way, shape, or form.
I just want to take care of everybody and make sure that everybody's safe and comfortable and like making sure you drink your water and like eat well and sleep well.
And I'm just a being of virtuous chaos.
Marilyn, you don't drink enough water yourself, and you're over here telling us about drinking the waters. That is very blue.
Yeah, it's water with a freezy in it.
That works.
See,
but
you
it's
can
still
see
water.
Through this. That is water.
You can see through this too. It's just it looks like you're looking through a bottle of Windex. That's all.
See, I just use a cup that you don't have to see through. So you have no idea.
So you don't know what sort of things he is up to.
You don't know what kind of sauce I got.
I mean, I could always break out the chalice of not water. But
all right, so Merowyn, I'm just going to
Grammarly
throw
can
up.
help you
Hey,
write quickly and
I'm going to throw up some gameplay here. Hopefully, this is Duskwood that you were talking about. So
We shall see. So yeah, I've been playing this for probably a month off and on now. It's a mobile game, which is weird for me. Episode 1, blah blah blah. Sorry, yep, that's it.
okay, I found the right one. Excellent.
So basically, this plays out as all of a sudden you get a message from this person named Thomas
Mhm.
who says that your phone number was the last text received from his now missing girlfriend's phone.
Hmm.
And so him and his group of friends, who I will affectionately deem the Scooby Gang, um, have have kind of like brought into their circle to try to figure out where this girl is. There's a hacker that jumps in and you get to like spy on people's conversations, but it's primarily played out through text except for the hacking portions, which is like um a bejeweled type game.
Okay.
It's episodic. It is still ongoing. I believe they've just released episode 7. I'm currently like midway through episode 4. The amount of work that has gone into this has been incredible. You get faux video calls, you get faux voice calls, there's media that's shared, like photos, to help you try to delve further into this mystery. The voice acting and the physical acting is stellar. The script is amazing. Like, this has drawn me in. And I've played games like this before, and it was like a, half an hour, 2 hour experience of like whatever. I have put so many freaking hours into this already, and I'm not that far in. The only downside is that there is some minor monetization, but
Mm.
you can get around it. So basically, some of the media is locked behind a paywall.
Mm.
It's a one-time payment of, I think it was like $6.99 Canadian
That's not bad.
to unlock it. But so like those pieces of media are marked with a star,
Mm.
and if you haven't paid, they just show up kind of blank with just a star on it. But they can go, so did you get the picture? And you go, no, I can't see it right now. And they'll describe to you what it is.
Okay.
So, like, they're really good about that in that you pay if you want.
Cool.
Um, I am so like invested in this story now, though. I read voraciously,
Mm.
and this is some of the best writing I have read in a very long while.
Cool. But you don't often see a lot of stellar writing in video games. It is getting better, but usually it ends up being window dressing in a lot of games.
Exactly. And they actually turned this, it's looking a little ARG-ish.
Oh.
So each one of these characters, and therefore the actors behind these characters, has a Instagram account
Oh.
for this character. So you can actually follow them outside of the game as well. One of them is constantly posting recipes. Trav, I'm going to be sending some of these to you because I want somebody in the exploration of these awesomeness along with me. But yeah, highly, highly recommend. Like this is just amazing, and I never thought I'd say that about a mobile game other than The Room. So
Hmm. Sounds cool though. I definitely enjoy games that have that little like real life bit thrown into it there, so you get to really experience the game as you're playing it. So
oh yeah. And the atmosphere build has been great
hmm.
because like I was in the middle of a conversation with a character. It's all multiple choice conversation trees, right? And then all of a sudden my phone flashed to an incoming video call.
Hmm.
And I get a covered up screen. It looked like it was somebody's hand, and just this really creepy altered voice spewing threats of like, you shouldn't have gotten involved. I'm being forced to escalate now. This is all your fault.
Gross.
And like, it's been like, this has all just been happening recently, and the goosebumps are real.
Believe it. Well, that sounds cool. First off, so Brian, how you been, buddy?
I'm okay. I'm all right, honestly. Like it's just
Lot
busy,
going on.
busy. But it's all right though because part of that business has been playing some video games.
Yay.
Okay.
Like we talked about the last time we were on Tuesday.
We
like
didn't really
went
get
through all of
into
our-
everything.
Yeah, there were a couple things that were left over. And there are two specifically that I want to talk about here. There's a third one that I have been playing, but there's not too much to really say about it. I don't know if anybody else has really tried out Hunter's Arena Legends, which is basically it's a weird kind of, not necessarily weird, but it's kind of like it's a mashup of battle royale melee combat with like sort of like pseudo-esque MOBA sort of things, like in-game leveling, as well as um like like very very loosely based like Dark Souls style combat system in there. Um and all of it kind of has this veneer of like Eastern uh Southern Asian iconography to it. You can also play as a panda who does kung fu. Um, and yeah, it's just a really weird thing that is interesting to take a peek into, but not something I want to spend a ton of time on.
Hmm.
Way more interesting is this game that we got pulled up here, No Longer Home. This is it's a point and click adventure from a team that's international. I believe there's one of them is in Britain, one of them is in Japan.
Mm.
And they're both non-binary. And this game is basically sort of autobiographical, as they describe it. Basically, you're playing as two university students. Their time at university is coming to an end, and they're like kind of living out the last days at their current apartment. And it's kind of a lot of it is really focused on like this idea of identity and how their identities are perceived by family, by friends, by society, not just in terms of like their gender identity, with them both being non-binary characters, but also in terms of like socioeconomic stylings and that sort of thing. Talking about um, a lot of this does talks about like gentrification and economic development within London and how there's a lot of talk about like the separation of South London from the rest of London and the gentrification of it there. And it's a very meditative style of game that I really enjoy delving into. It's only a few hours long and it packs an emotional punch. I as someone who does identify as non-binary, um, there are a lot of fucking hard truths that come out in this game, especially whenever you have two people who identify as non-binary and are in a relationship, and one of them is basically as soon as they leave this apartment, they're going to have to go back to Japan, and they don't know when they're going to see each other again. It's very much about like the ending of things, the beginning of other things, and trying to find your place, not necessarily within the binary structure of these things, but possibly even creating space outside of the binary, shall we say.
Mm.
I really, really enjoyed it. It's very, very thought provoking. Ending hit really close to home. And yeah, I thoroughly suggest it. It's an outstanding title. Yeah, so good. The conversations and the writing, and like you said before in talking about Duskwood, like the writing in this game is just so good. The conversations in there are so good. There's like a point in the game where you're like playing a adventure game within the adventure game, and like the way that they kind of write out the characters' responses to what's happening in that game is just so good. It's just I don't know. It's just I can't suggest it enough. I definitely think that if you got a few hours to spare and want something that's going to make you think a bit, this is a good route to go. Just be prepared that it might make you a little misty-eyed if you do get in there.
How long is the game, do you think?
I'd say like it took me like 2 to 3 hours.
Okay, so relatively quick journey. I kind of starting to like quicker games these days, even if I keep ending up playing 40-hour adventures over and over.
No, and the game itself does also come with a like a 10 to 15 minute prologue chapter as well, and I highly suggest that you play the prologue chapter before you jump into the full game.
Gotcha.
Does a lot of good setting up stuff heading into it.
So this is a game that is going to make me absolutely curl up in a little ball in my chair and sob like a baby.
Maybe it will make you. I'll put it this way. Whenever I finished it, I was crying mainly because the situations that they presented themselves, the discussions on like living as a non-binary person in a binary world, like they spoke very close to me. But outside of that, like even just the idea of like ending a chapter of your life and moving into a different one, it's like a that we've all experienced something where you're leaving behind an era that you know is never going to be the same. You're never going to be able to go back to that. It's never going to feel the same. This communicates that all too well while playing on like familial relationships, the issues of identity, but it also leaves you with hope. So it's not an all-out sad thing. It's like you're crying, but you know that things are still going to be all right.
Okay. So
So it's a
hopeful
good
sort of.
cathartic cry then.
Yes, for sure. Yes. Now, a game that will not make you cry, it will make you cringe a little bit, is Riders Republic.
I have seen a good bit of this going around lately, so
So one of the good things about Gamescom happening this week is that Ubisoft opened up the beta for Riders Republic to all users for a few days, and I jumped in and tried out some Riders Republic over the weekend. I played probably about like 5 hours of it, and yeah, it is a tale of two different things.
Mhm.
If you are just looking for an action sports game, this one feels fun. The races are fun. The controls take a little bit of time to adjust to and to learn, but like there's a sense of accomplishment whenever you do figure out stuff. And they also do especially when doing tricks and that sort of thing, they do have a system in there where you can turn on like auto landing. So if you are getting frustrated by like over rotating or not necessarily being able to read those sort of things, it's there. It's in the game. So it does take away some of that frustration and just makes it, if you just want to have fun with it, just go do it. You don't have to trying to be precise about everything. Um, that being said, a lot of the dressing around the competitions and sort of things like that can be grating
Mhm.
as all hell because it never shuts up.
Oh.
This game hardly ever shuts up. The only time that I got any bit of silence really was whenever I was like just riding my mountain bike through the map is huge. The map is massive. And there are plenty of places where like it is total seclusion. Like even though like the whole area is still being populated by other players, you can find yourself alone a lot, which is nice because everywhere else you go that is populated or near some like major structure, the music is just blaring. The characters are just like throwing out the worst slang you can ever think of.
Oh no.
The most like uncool writing I've ever. heard in one of these games. They're just trying so hard to be like X Games dad
We're
and
hit with the
Oh,
kids.
failing.
all of the
Yes.
90s, the really bad 90s surfer bro slang.
Yeah, except like it's not even that. It's
Oh,
like that, but we're like, well, it's not the 90s anymore, so we should try and find facsimiles for that for now, without actually doing the research to see what slang is being used now.
oh God.
Um, Also, the music in this game, a lot of it's okay. They do have like I marked out the first time that I heard the Offspring in there because like it's to me like, oh, okay, this is Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
But outside of that, some of the music choices are frustrating. Like I put it in the Discord, but this game has possibly no, not possibly, definitively the worst cover of Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise that I've ever heard in my life. Have you ever wanted to hear a white lady with a mandolin version of Gangsta's Paradise?
No.
Ari, what?
Yep.
Ow.
Yep.
How does
First
Gangsta's
time-
Paradise keep getting so much disrespect? First in the Sonic movie, then like coffee shop cover?
I don't know. It was a hard choice for me to figure out which song was worse heading into today's show between that and the terrible version of Enter Sandman that played over the Marvel Midnight Suns trailer that we're going to talk about a little bit later from the Gamescom presentation. Both bad, very bad. That aside though, like I like the leveling structure of the game. I like that it gives you a lot of variety of what you want to do. If you just want to do races, the races are great. The trick competitions are great. The multiplayer options are pretty good too. They have a free for all mode where it's just like you and 12 other people like trying to do like earn points with bike tricks on a map, or they have a tricks attack mode where like it's you on a team of 6 against another team of 6, and you're like hitting like trying to rack up points on a snowboard, like this big over the top snowboard tricks course. And so like the multiplayer stuff feels good. The mass races, they have mass races where like they have like different stages of races where like you're biking at one point and then you're into a rocket wing suit in another one, and then you're snowboarding in another one, and then you're back into like rocket skis. Or they switch it up enough in there that it's interesting, although it does get a little jar. I always got jarred whenever I was switching between anything and the rocket suit because I have trouble controlling the rocket suit. But you know, I don't know. I kept finding myself coming back and wanted to try a little bit more of it. I don't know if it's something that I would pay $70 for, but you know, it's gonna find its audience. Like I would say this is a much richer offering than what I thought Steep gave,
Yeah.
and a bit more arcadey than what Steep gave as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like in that way, it's more fun than that. You're gonna have to get used to everything around the game itself. Because like God, the characters in the VO for most of it are just like terrible.
I wonder if it'd be possible to just disable character voices.
I don't know. Oh, another thing to point out though, speaking of that, Ubisoft has added in a accessibility option where they have a text to speak option for the menus. So they'll actually read out menus to you.
Brilliant.
They read out the beta agreement to me.
Oof.
It's clunky, don't get me wrong. It's not the smoothest thing in the world, but it's nice to see them moving towards more accessibility options in just operating their games as opposed to just playing them.
Yeah, like completely unrelated, but I saw like a video on some software. I think Microsoft and Apple had been working together on it. That like you could point it at somebody's face and be like, "This is a 38-year-old man with no hair or with having a neutral expression and shit like that." And I was like, "Oh, that's the future is weird, but once they get all of this like reading out, you know, EULAs to you and the phone just look at something and tell you exactly what it's looking at. So, you know, in case you're vision impaired or stuff like that, that's really cool, I think.
It's kind of creepy, but like closed
Little bit.
captioning your world. Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Maybe maybe the Google Glasses will make a comeback. I don't
I hope not.
know.
Wait and see.
All right, so I kind of had my like fall kind of planned. Like I would play Skyward Sword and then get into No More Heroes 3, which are, those are two of my favorite, series ever, so clearly I'd want to do that. And then after maybe hit up some Axiom Verge before other things come out. I had bought into Psychonauts 2 back when the Kickstarter came out like 5 million years ago, thinking I might play a few hours of it, because let me tell you, I love Tim Schafer, and I love that he makes things that he likes, but I wasn't a real Psychonauts 1 fan. It was a little bit too much, I am Penguin of Doom, I have Spork in a lot of places. But Psychonauts 2 is really good, and everyone needs to play it. It does keep a lot of the quirks and awkwardness from the original Psychonauts. A lot of what kept me from really loving that game is that, you have to toggle between all of your different abilities, and there's no quick toggle or anything. You have to move it to your menu to be able to use it. It has to be on one of your 4 buttons mapped to do it. As well, the camera is definitely a little bit better in this game, but there are issues with the camera that I'd say as well. The voice acting is really good. Josh, you see out there, is not wrong. But man, first off, this game is really pretty to really watch in action. It looks a lot like if you actually took some real like figures and put them to movement. Like all of the architecture is not, square cube on place. It has weird edges and everything feels a little bit weird. There is really like cloth feel to a lot of the faces in this. But beyond just it looks good and it sounds good, there's a great story going on here. Like, better than it has any right to be. Like, it really takes the story of Psychonauts 1. Usually when you end up getting, like, these sequels, maybe it evolves something off of the first game. But no, this game really takes all of the lore and stuff and really expands it, but still keeps in mind that this is a 10-year-old boy. I'll close that ad banner for you, Joshy. This is a 10-year-old boy doing all the jumping around, and they put him in the intern program because it is, young boy joining a whole new organization that has all of the stuff that organizations should have. So, it's in the first game, it's kind of like you accidentally become a Psychonaut, but in this game, you're really getting a feel for what the organization is like. There's intrigue within the organization. There's not a moment where the storyline doesn't let up in some way. It's always progressing. The levels so far have been really creative. They definitely do a lot to mess around with your ability to figure out where things are. A lot of rotation, weird, wonky dream physics and gravity. They play around a lot with the ideas that could be in people's heads when you're going into the worlds. And I know they did that in the first game a lot, but it was more like in the first game, like they gave areas thematic things and you just kind of were going through it and you would get kind of the background of the people, but everyone in this game has a little bit of fucked up going on, and you discover it as you go through. And you even discover more things about the people that you interacted in the first game. It's neat. I can't gush enough about it. This may be the most boring part I decided to watch here. This is yeah, you can see like all of the different weird things they do with textures. It is still a massive collectathon, so you're still finding items, you're still picking up little thought bubbles and tags on all of that stuff.
So
Go ahead.
go ahead, Lens.
Is this one where you would recommend playing the original first?
I don't think you really have to be honest with you. Like with any sequel, it's not a bad idea to do it. But the game explains itself well enough because Lord knows I forgot so much about the original game, but it does a good job. Like it's been 20 years since I watched Shane play the original game. I didn't even play it because I felt the controls were way too stiff for me, so I just couldn't get into it. But like it kind of sparked a lot of it for me. The intro tells you basically everything you needed to know about what happened in Psychonauts 1, and otherwise it kind of gives you an idea.
Okay.
Hmm.
I might have to check this out then.
Now, one of the things I'm curious about with this is considering how long it's been in development, because it's one of those games that's been in the oven for so long now that it kind of has a little bit of a, a jokiness attached to it in some way. Um, Psychonauts 1 very much still feels like a game of its time.
Yeah.
In terms of like you said, the collectathon aspect of it, the humor of it. Um, does this feel like it's kind of does this game feel like something that's been in development for as long as it has, and has it, do you feel like it's kind of been able to keep up with the the changes, as much as a Tim Schafer game will?
um it is still a Tim Schafer game, and Tim Schafer games are always going to feel like Tim Schafer games. I would definitely say that the gameplay does still feel a little bit like 2002-ish. It's definitely the camera is a lot better. The action is a lot more intuitive than in the original, but it being a collectathon, the battle style of when you get surrounded by enemies, it's still very much that 2002 collectathon style gameplay where 3D running away from the guys, so your action abilities will charge back up, and then you can use them on the enemies in specific types of brain power, do different things on different enemies. That's all
Yeah.
still there. The writing, I think, has gone much better since 2002. It is not the same super goofy game. It is still goofy. You can see just looking at this. This is still a goofy ass game.
Yeah.
But it is no longer, at least to me, that like I hold up sport goofiness. And it has a lot of grounding, right? Instead of in the last game, you kind of had the free reign of the place, and all of the heroes of the game were kind of off the bat, so to say. Agent Hollis that you made in this game, and yes, I know, but her name is Agent Hollis. Um, she is a very grounding force in the game. There's a lot of, I would say, a lot of Men in Black feeling to this. That there's a lot going on that a lot of people don't get to see and that sort of thing, and there's interesting conspiracies going on. But yeah, this is, if you ever were going to do a collectathon, and I've tried Ahead in Time, I've tried other retro revival collectathons, I can't feel them, but I really love this game, and getting actually into our stories, starting off with the reviews are in, I don't seem to be alone in that. The Metacritic score for Psychonauts 2 was at 89.
Wow.
It did get reviewed bombed a bit because, Tim Schafer is an SJW. But anyway.
Whatever.
Yeah, but this is a pretty damn high score for a Double Fine game. Usually Double Fine games are very niche, so you don't tend to get a hugely favorable score out of them. But a lot of people seem to really love this game. It's the dialogue's impressive, the gameplay is impressive. Some of the tropes in the gameplay are a little bit old school, like we said, but overall, go for it.
No, one thing I really enjoyed about the first game was that it had all those trappings of the era of the style of game that it was, but unlike a lot of those games, and this might point to what you were talking about with like this sort of retro reemergence of these style of games that we've been seeing your ukuleles and
Mm.
others of the type. Um, I think the main reason why this one still holds a lot of weight and a lot of prestige, in the what it does is that Psychonauts, the main connecting thread of it was always the heart at the middle of the story
Mm.
and the message within it, and that is something that was vacant from a lot of those titles
True.
back in that era. Psychonauts got it right back then. It sounds like they're getting it right again this time around with their love letter to that. I don't know. I've been a little on the fence with Psychonauts 2 just because you know I'm always a little bit wary of something that's been in development for as long as it has, but I'm glad to see that it is maintaining the legacy that the first game had. I've spoken to so many people who still point to Psychonauts 1 as their favorite video game of all time, and that speaks wonders to what that game accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, Psychonauts 1 had a great message in it, right? That even people with the severe mental issues are still useful people. They aren't broken. They just have a lot to deal with. They have serious trauma, and you know by actually listening to them and caring about their story, our hero Raz, through the initial Psychonauts, gets to really help a lot of people find their way. um and you see a lot of this in Psychonauts too. Raz, even relatively early in the game, really messes up pretty majorly, by overusing his power in a way he knows he shouldn't. And instead of, doing the thing that you might expect, take away his power, chastise him, rada rada, the game sees this as a growing opportunity for him to learn as a new intern. He has more power than he does life experience. So, he's still a kid trying to learn at the same time. And that's kind of a cool thing to see a game really handle is, these adults working with the child and teaching him how to evolve with these huge powers that he has. Um, I'm definitely for the message, and uh, I have a lot of love for Tim Schafer. Like I said, I don't always love his games, but I'm glad we have a weirdo out there like him making the games he wants to make. While we're on weirdos making the games they want to make, Axiom Verge too. I was real excited to eventually get into this. This is on hold for me too, but it's gotten about an average review. It tends to be, how much do you want a really hard Metroidvania? Because it doesn't pull any punches. It does not have time for you to learn how to get good. You have to be good and think on its level.
At the same time, though, they've programmed it so, or I say they, the single programmer who made the first game,
Mm.
um, have made it where you don't actually have to beat any of the bosses to beat the game.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, so
Nice.
you don't have to be you don't have to like indulge in the depths of combat systems aspect of this game, or the get good mentality. In actuality, like, you can take on those challenges all you want, especially in a game like this where like the focus is much more on melee combat as opposed to like different like projectile weapons as it was in the first game.
Mm.
But yeah, you don't have to fight any of the bosses at all
Nice.
to advance and to complete the game, which is a novel concept for a Metroidvania title.
Yeah, I mean, I know Metroid kind of did it with Samus Returns because it had a lot more up close grapple with it, so I could see where that might sting a lot of people as well.
Yes, but I mean, it's more so. I'm more so referring to the fact that you don't have to actually like beat any of the bosses to complete the game, because
Yeah.
so much about the Metroidvania concept is about gatekeeping abilities behind certain certain challenges or certain bosses or something like that. You have to beat the boss to get this thing so you can get to this area that you weren't able to get to before, and then open up new passageways and blah blah blah, complete the map, finish the thing, save the world. um in this one, like it, and granted, I am speaking to this while not having actually played it, even though I am immensely excited for this game, because I love the first one. I really love the idea of approaching a Metroidvania with uh, the idea of accessibility to all players.
Mm.
Because there are plenty of people that I think might be intrigued by a game like this, um, that aren't really in the business of trying to really build up their timing and their skills to work through some of the more challenging boss fights that the game delivers. And in that aspect, it's definitely a new way of thinking about how to craft out a Metroidvania map or a Metroidvania world, or even what you can do in a Metroidvania.
Mm.
So yeah, I really love the ideas that it's playing with here. I'm super excited to jump into it whenever I do get the chance to. And I'm probably not going to skip the boss fights personally, just because that's the type of player that I am.
Yeah.
But I am very curious to see what it would look like to beat that game without engaging in the combat systems.
Same. I do feel like that's the one thing that has definitely gotten more prevalent after Breath of the Wild was the idea of you make the game as hard as you want to make it, right? You can go for all of these wild challenges, or you can use, grab the Master Sword, wander in, and beat up a dude. It's, you know, it's
Yeah.
cool to have more games that do give you that amount of freedom. And from every review I've seen, the game is oozing apparently with creativity. That's, um, whether or not you love this game depends upon how willing you are to get in for some experimental gameplay. And that's cool to me. This guy seems to have a lot of really cool ideas and doesn't just want to make, another run and gun Metroidvania, kill your bosses, move forward, all of that good stuff. I didn't love Axiom Verge 1, but I loved the thoughts and ideas that he put into it. So I'm really excited to see how he feels and puts into a sequel to that.
Yeah, and see, I absolutely adored the first game. I loved it so much that I played it in a Greyhound bus station on a laptop. But like, I will say the one weakness of Axiom Verge 1 that I hope is corrected for Axiom Verge 2 is the story of Axiom Verge 1 was not the most like fleshed out amazing thing. And I think if you're going to make a game that has systems built into it where you don't have to engage in the combat to complete it, you need to have a much stronger story for people to chew on and want to continue to progress to find out about, and to learn more things, and learn about what you're trying to do with the world you're creating. So I'm hoping that that's there. I'm hoping that that there's been some lessons learned from the first game in that aspect. But outside of that, I'm super stoked to get my hands on Axiom Verge 2.
Hmm. And the last of, I guess, like, auteur studies, because, you know, we have Tim Schafer with that one, with Psychonauts. We had Axiom Verge, I always forget his name, but, you know, one person making it. And you can't think of No More Heroes 3 without thinking of Suda for this series. Even if No More Heroes 2, he was very hands-off of it on it, just playing a production role. This is apparently the last round for good old Travis Touchdown, and from what I gather, if you like No More Heroes, you will love this. It is certainly not a game for everyone. You know, it is definitely a game out of time, I'd say, because the beat 'em up genre is not quite so prevalent anymore, especially this God Hand style of, you know, 3D game with, you know, motion control throw-ins and all of that good stuff. A game that really doesn't take itself seriously, which I think is why you see some real differences of opinions as you go up and down the rankings here. But God, I am so excited to get to the point wherever I do finally play it. The bosses in No More Heroes have always been the real game maker, and it does sound like they pulled out all of the stops here.
Very rarely am I not down for a Suda game. You know, I don't like subscribing to the auteur theory, but if somebody is going to be if there's someone in that conversation that I will always give the benefit of the doubt to on an initial playthrough, it's going to be Suda. So I am all for whatever ridiculousness he has in store here. You know.
Yeah,
and also real quick, the developer for Axiom Verge is Tom Happ.
Tom Happ. Okay. I mean, yeah, so No More Heroes 2 kind of floundered. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Suda was so very hands-off with that game. And then there was Travis Strikes Again, which also I thought was great, but you know, again, I don't think it's what the fans wanted, but it did show there was an interest there. I'm excited for it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't expect to be blown away here, because it's not like he had a huge team working on this or anything. But sometimes it makes it better. I don't know. I have to kind of see what sort of wonky bullshit he pulls off in this game. It'll be sad to see Travis Touchdown go, but look forward to watching how he leads.
Wasn't Travis Touchdown in Smash?
I think he was a Mii character.
Okay. Put Travis Touchdown in Smash.
Oh yeah, put him actually in Smash.
Waluigi first, then Travis Touchdown.
But put them both in at the same time. Just put them in as they're the same person anyway. Put them both in together. It'll be fine.
I'm just trying to not be greedy here. All right.
Just no more giant sword characters. There's enough.
Sorry, this is a giant sword character. That's all you're getting out of Travis Touchdown.
But it's a Suda game.
Look, he bought a giant lightsaber off of eBay, and he's going to use it.
That's fair enough.
That is actually the story from No More Heroes 1. He buys a lightsaber off of eBay, gets drunk in a bar. This woman says he will have sex with him if he can find his way using that beam saber to the top of the listing. So he does. That's
oh
the
my
story.
God.
Yep.
Why have I not played these games?
They're
Travis,
real big dumb.
this game is super big dumb. Travis Touchdown is the biggest fucking otaku in the entire world. He is a huge dork, just the biggest. Loves his cat to pieces, though. Absolutely loves his cat. And seems to actually care somewhat about the actual people in his life. But God, he is such a worthless human being otherwise.
So he's Johnny Bravo, but weeb?
Yes, that is a great way
Wow.
of thinking about it.
That is so spot on.
He is Wee Bravo. Which actually, I imagine Suda51 would really adore that comparison. He seems like a Johnny Bravo fan. Anyway. There's all of our new games that just came out, but there's so much more to come. And Gamescom happened.
Sure did.
Yeah, starting with King of Fighters 15. I didn't know we're up to 15 now.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, there's King of Fighters is there. It's dope. It's still good. It's not coming out till next year, but it's there. They're making it.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, is the point at which we need to say stop?
You know what? I'm never gonna turn down a chance to have more Terry Bogard in my life. So.
The fighting game genre is making a comeback, and King of Fighters, at least, is one of the goofier fighters. So I'm glad to have some goofy in that arena, because God, so many fighters are so fucking serious.
Looking at you, Street Fighter 5.
Trailer for 9 to 5 doesn't do much for me. Bus Simulator, House of Ashes, and Dolmen. Actually kind of somewhat amused by the idea of Bus Simulator. I don't think I'd ever play it, but it's amusing thought to me.
It's Euro Truck Simulator, but in the city.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same developer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, you're
And
just farming people around.
Judging by that logo, it's the same folk behind Farm Simulator as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Josh, I do wonder if there will be a button in this game to yell at people without their masks.
That would be amazing.
That's what modders are for.
I would want to commission a modder to give me ejector seats in the bus. So-
Dolmen and... Go ahead.
You don't wear the mask, you get on the bus, eject.
Yeah, but
There's
it might
no
eject the
hatch
other
above
person
that
with them.
seat. There's no hatch above that seat.
Hmm.
It's just straight up into the roof of the bus. Done.
So you're hoping for some Looney Tunes physics.
No, that would only be if I was hoping for like the raised bump to appear on the top of the bus as they tried to go through the sheet metal.
Fuck, it ain't my bus. Belongs to the bus company. Fuck it. Y'all have any cares for Dolmen or Dream Cycle? I don't.
Eh.
I mean, I have to do more like looking at stuff. This is all stuff that was from the opening night live pre-show, and I unfortunately missed the pre-show. So the only game that I really have a ton of information or knowledge on is that new Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes game, which, you know, it's the people that made Until Dawn. They've been putting out some okay horror stuff here. I don't know if I'm necessarily super excited about what this one wants to do. But it's there if you want something spookers.
Now, the
Nope.
real talk of the show was a new Saints Row is coming out that's completely rebooting the series.
Yes. So this is actually something that the developers said. That this is a reboot, a more grounded reboot of the series. And the trailer that they The teaser they put out there kind of speaks to that. It still had humor to it,
Hmm.
but if we all remember where Saints Row left off at Saints Row
Yeah.
4, Saints Row 4, where you were time traveling, and you were the ruler of the world. This isn't that. They're just like, okay, we're just gonna go back to maybe some more humble origins of the first game, but without like the GTA parody-esque sort of thing or the over-the-topness of it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's still a lot more to learn about what this game is going to be before it comes out next year. But from the first trailer, it seems like a much more down-to-earth version of the game that is not really playing with the forced edginess of the first game that had. Because
these kids are definitely goofy.
yeah, they're goofy, but like that. If you remember the first Saints Row, like that was like almost like offensive on purpose in a lot of instances. And I doubt, obviously, you can't get away with a lot of that stuff now culturally.
Yeah.
And going back to play that first Saints Row game is not necessarily a good look. Now I've tried it. It does not. Oh no, but not at all. But if they want to take another stab at it, I think it's a good. It's still a name that has a lot of cachet, and I think the world might be ready for a new version of what Saints Row can be, especially considering how poorly Agents of Mayhem did whenever it came out a few years ago. I mean, I thought whenever that game came out, that was the end of the franchise. I thought that killed Saints Row, honestly. But they're back and they got a new one, so we'll see.
Like, I will fully admit, I never played the first or the second. My intro to Saints Row was Saints Row the Third. And I fell in love with it because it was the first shooter style game that I had ever really played, like, in a GTA style sense. And I thought it was hilarious. And now looking back at it, and I did turn around and I bought the remastered version, because I only had the PS3 version, and the PS3 version went with the X. So, but yeah, like I bought the remastered, and I played it, and I'm sitting here going, I could never stream this game. Ever.
Yeah.
And then I played the fourth back when it was first released, and you're right, like there's not really anything that you can go from there. Like when you defeat an alien race hellbent on enslaving the entire world through using essentially a ripoff of the Matrix, where do you go?
Apparently back to your roots, which is fine. It does sound like they have a lot of really cool ideas for where to go when you start over, and getting these scrappy young kids together to start up their own gang for some reason.
Because why not?
Yeah, because they're bored, I guess, and, risk their
Sounds like
lives to do all these things. Sure, okay. They seem like a bunch of characters that aren't too, hey, my identity is I like anime, or something, Thinking of the driver on the motorcycle with the cat ears, like, they seem to actually have personalities, so that's good. You don't get that in shooters a lot. We've got more Firaxis games. To me, if you've played a Firaxis game, you've played a Firaxis game.
This is probably the most exciting thing coming out of this presentation for me personally. Yes. Do you want Marvel but XCOM?
Yes.
That's what Marvel Midnight Suns is. It's Marvel but XCOM. It's a tactical strategy game with Marvel characters. And I like a lot of the designs of the characters that they have in here. If you look close up on the trailer of Wolverine's get up, there's like all these like runes on it, like carved into his like suit, which are dope looking. This is also the trailer that had the other worst song that I heard this week. So be prepared if you do check it out. But I really like what they're doing with it. Obviously, they're going to have more to say on Wednesday. They're having a presentation for accesses on the game. And so, but they're saying that like not only is this the tactical gameplay, but they're kind of like beefing up what you do in between missions as well. Because a lot of what XCOM was a lot of base building and a lot of like kind of downtime that wasn't necessarily all too it was engaging, but not to a point where like you felt like it was really building out the world as it was. Marvel already has kind of a world built into it, and the characters that you have at your disposal in this game already come with like prepackaged relationships and characterizations that really speak well to kind of formulating teams and watching relationships and bonds grow. They've been talking a lot about like having relationships between characters grow depending on play style and that sort of thing, and who you group together and that sort of stuff. They've also created a brand new superhero as the protagonist player character, who simply goes by Hunter, or Lilith as well, I think is another name. Not much information about her right now, but it was developed, a co-development between Firaxis and Marvel, so Marvel had some say in the creation of this character. That being said, though, there's also an insinuation that this is just going to be a fucking ship machine. Like if you want to like think about how many different of these superheroes that you can get close to and possibly like fuck without showing them fucking on the game, what's up?
So it's Hades.
In a way. I won't go that far per se, because I will say though that new design of Ghost Rider, pretty fine.
Yeah, he ballin'.
Yeah, but no, I'm genuinely excited because I love Firaxis' take on tactical stuff. I've loved all the XCOM games, some more than others, but I'm really curious to see what they can do with Marvel at their beck and call here.
I mean, I admit, like, Firaxis is fine. It just doesn't do much of anything for me, I guess, and that's a me thing. I know that XCOM is becoming much beloved amongst the gamer community. Whereas 10 or 15 years ago, what's an XCOM? So it's cool to see these tactical games actually getting some love, and there needs to be, genres that maybe I can't feel, but I'm glad other people feel, right? Do Call of Duty.
Yay.
They put Uncharted in Call of Duty. Move on.
Move on we shall.
Did you know that in World War II era Europe that all the buildings had bricks sticking out of them so you could easily grab and traverse things? And also we don't want to put Activision's name on any of the iconography around this game because of something that's happening right now?
Let's not talk about Activision. We don't need it.
Call of Duty doesn't have a publisher. It's just Call of Duty.
It just came into being magically through the will of so many bros. So many bros.
It spawned from the collective gamer's eyebrow. Halo Infinite is definitely releasing now. I think when we last left off, it didn't have a release date, but now it's definitely coming out for everything December 8th. Across everything.
It is coming out, but there are certain things that are not available at launch. Most notably, one, the Forge is not available at launch, as well as co-op campaign.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people love Halo for the co-op campaign specifically.
Yep, especially whenever you have a game like this that's kind of like leaning into like this sort of like living world aspect of it.
Yeah.
Kind of frustrating. Kind of frustrating. Also, apparently, they're not going to have per match XP allotments whenever you get into the multiplayer. Also, all the XP advancing is tied to completing goals, from what I've read. Also,
Okay.
which is weird.
Did they have a date for when all of the other features might come into it? Do they have a roadmap for those kind of things, or?
Roadmap? What's a roadmap, Travis?
I wonder if, God, that game that really sucked last year. Anyway, I think the roadmap's been killed by the game that was supposed to have all of the DLC out by now. Because everyone was going to love it.
Well, I mean, if you count a 50 gigabyte patch that still doesn't fix all the bugs in it as a DLC, then yes. All the DLC is out.
See, I thought the concept of roadmap died with that open world mess that was supposed to be like the new Halo that failed miserably.
Oh, Anthem?
Yeah, that one.
Boy, none of us can remember video game names.
No, I just purposely tried to wipe that one from my mind. I was so excited for it and then just watched it crumble upon release.
See, the problem is, if Cyberpunk 2077 ever does come out with DLC, I will be there.
Really?
I will. I liked the game that much. I really did enjoy my time with it. Even the glitchy, gross mess it was.
You are truly representing the diversity of voices on this panel right now, Travis.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that if ever I die, I'm putting it in my will that CDPR devs are going to be lowering me into the ground so they can let me down one last time. Like, I am so done with that.
That being said, the most interesting thing to come out about the Halo stuff is that this special limited edition Halo Infinite Xbox Series X that they got looks dope.
It do.
I don't know if I'm gonna drop. I don't know if I'm gonna drop $550 on it.
I won't.
But yeah.
I mean, I would be tempted to, but if it's $550 for y'all, it's gonna be like $800 for me.
Let's not talk about poor Kelvin and what it's going to cost in Down Under money.
Down Under bucks? Yeah.
Yeah. Devolver Digital is putting out a new game, Cult of the Lamb. And it is a Devolver Digital game. Boy, howdy, is it a Devolver Digital game.
It is an interesting little thing. Like it's definitely has. It's a roguelike for sure, but it also has. It looks like it might have some elements of like town building in it as well. So I don't know. They haven't really explained a ton about all the systems that are at work in this, but it has a nice art style as well. So
yeah,
I want to be a demonic lamb revenant.
It's what, like, God, there's like an adorable goth horror thing. I don't remember the name for it, but it very much is invoking that. And that's neat. It looks good. We don't know how it actually plays or does, other than, the rough ideas we get from this.
Devolver.
Yeah. It's a Devolver game. We'll all end up playing it here. I think Devolver is the one thing this whole panel is like, yeah, please, thank you.
Gimme.
Midnight Flight Express?
okay. This rivals Marvel Midnight Suns as my most anticipated game coming out of this.
Okay. Tell me why.
Okay. If you watch the trailer for this and see how fluid the hand-to-hand combat in this game looks and plays, and it just seems like a perfect melee combat playground that one person has built out. This is another solo developer game. And looking at it, it's hard to believe that it's a solo developer, honestly. I don't know. It just screams like action movie set piece, but all the time.
Mhm.
And I am all in on that idea. Wholeheartedly.
This seems kind of overwhelming and yet underwhelming to me at the same time. It doesn't stand out at all to me, and I guess it's because I hate shaky cam action movies a lot. So
Yeah. I understand it's not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but like this game, as soon as I saw it, I jumped out of my chair. I'm like, fuck yes. Give this to me, damn it.
I think I would poke at that one. Like, it does. Like, you're right. It looks really, really smooth.
Understandable. We'll talk more about Shredder's Revenge. You know what? We'll just go ahead and talk about it now. Why not? So, not only do we get a side-scroller beat-em-up, but we're getting April O'Neil as a playable character in the side-scrolling beat-em-up.
She finishes her combos by dropping the mic and exploding people.
I'm so excited. So excited.
It's about time April got some love in these games, damn it.
Right?
April O'Neil was always the kidnapped victim, so it's good to see her actually out there.
Yeah, like she was forever the Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Now she gets to fuck people up. She properly should.
She has a lot of repressed rage.
Did they or did they not announce Casey for this game? Because I thought they did at one point.
No, not yet. I'm sure they'll have more side characters to announce, but I would not be surprised at all if Casey Jones doesn't make the list. I personally am holding out hope that maybe they delve into the depths of the Turtles universe and pull Venus out, the female Ninja Turtle. That would be awesome for me and me only. But
yeah, I
don't
don't think a lot of people had love for Venus, but
they're wrong.
For those of us that didn't really like get heavily into the lore and just kind of like lived the cartoons, our first real intro was the horrible live action series that they tried to do.
the series or the movies?
The series.
That was the only instance where Venus was actually present in the entire. Well, no, she might have shown back up in the comic books later.
I want
But yeah,
to
she
say
was-
she was in one of the cartoons.
No, she was created specifically for that live action show.
Oh.
I could not get behind her. Like, just couldn't do it.
Lies.
Oh.
No lies.
I know. I'm just joking. I know.
I'm all for the empowered female warrior, but just nah, couldn't. I'm apparently a living glitch today by way of my camera. That's awesome. Arms? No arms. Magic.
You don't need arms.
But my toes aren't flexible enough to hold a controller.
What if we just put you in a monkey ball?
Oh no. No.
Then you could just play all the mini games in Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania.
Yeah, and you can
Oh.
even play as some Sonics.
Oh god.
Didn't you want to play Super Monkey Ball, but also it's a multiplayer sports game, but also you play as Amy Rose?
Yep.
Okay,
No, there's nothing that's gonna make me not excited for Super Monkey Ball. All right.
I'm glad Super Monkey Ball is coming back. I missed that game, but I just want to play Monkey Ball. I don't want to play the mini games. I just want to play Monkey Ball.
See, the mini games to me are way more fun than actual Super Monkey Ball.
Yes.
Like I played Monkey Target so much in the GameCube era. I swear to God.
I didn't. Like, I played a little bit of it, thought it was kind of fun, wanted to play more, and then the whole series died off.
Yo, fights started over Monkey Target at my house when I was in high school. All right.
I
had,
believe you.
I had the Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, I think it was, that came out for the Wii.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think that was the last one they ever did.
Yeah, because it was not good. That game should not have motion controls. No, unless that motion control is literally a trackball in a console in front of me. No motion controls.
Anything for Splitgate, because I didn't feel anything about Splitgate.
So basically, all this was them announcing Season 0, which is just basically another, like, it's a new season of the beta.
Mhm.
They got a new battle pass. They added a new arena. They've kind of refined some of the matchmaking organization. It's still Splitgate.
Yeah,
It's
there.
still yeah. You should still play it. It's still free.
Yeah, if you loved Halo, it's Halo plus Portals.
Yep.
Cool. Keep playing it. It'll come out of beta at some point.
Maybe.
We talked about Riders Republic earlier.
Red Bull gives you wings.
I didn't really want a Red Bull commercial right now, but thank you anyway. Century Age of Ashes. It has the dragon.
It does. It has the dragon.
Yeah.
Yay, darkness.
You can be a dragon and...
It's also free to play. So.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh.
Everyone loves
Mythics?
Lego games.
I think with the Age of Ashes, you can be a dragon for an additional $9.99 a month.
There you go.
All right, wargaming.
Yeah. I don't know where the Lego franchise really came from or started, but I'm so glad it did. Like, I'm not ever really going to buy any, but they're fucking adorable.
How do we feel about them actually like putting VO on the characters in the Lego game now? I don't know. I don't mean to like artificially extend the conversation or anything. I just thought it was kind of weird that they just ripped out like lines of dialogue from the movie and put it in the game.
Okay, that is a little bit weird.
That is awkward. That's very awkward.
Actually, I don't even remember this existing off planet.
Yeah, I'm not sure synced off planet. There's still a lot to kind of talk about there or to learn actually about that. But yeah.
Sci-fi shooters and summoning robots.
No wonder I don't remember anything about this. This looks generic as fuck. Hey, it's a brown shooter with robots that form out of cubes. Okay.
They made Warframe, but it was the NetEase version of Warframe.
Outlast Trials. Sweet. Okay.
I'm interested to see what a co-op Outlast game looks like.
Yeah, I can see it.
Nope.
It's not my cup of tea, but I could probably watch a streamer play it and be pretty entertained.
Nope. That is a Marrow goes and curls up in a corner and hides. Just nope.
Dokev. A very pretty game.
If you want a Pokemon MMO.
Before
There you
Pokemon Legends comes out.
Yep.
You got a kawaii dance to it. You know.
It looks charming enough. I am not an MMO person. I will not try.
I will absolutely not play this at all. But I imagine, like, if I were 12 years old again, I would be begging for this game.
Yeah. I might get really bored at some point and poke at it.
Jurassic World Evolution. Build roller coaster dinosaur park.
No.
I feel like every time this game comes up, Lynn's just immediately like shuts down the conversation on this game.
I know Evolution 1 was bad, but I'm hopeful this one may be good.
I spent like an hour and a half in that game, and it was horrific.
Please learn the lesson. Make a good Jurassic World Park simulator game. I need this to be good. Make it good. This is everything I wanted as a child. I won't play it when it comes out, but at some point I'ma wanna build and see the dinos do the smooch and make dino babies. And maybe crash out of their protective cages and kill everyone. Like that, yeah.
Like, the redeeming quality of the first one was you have Jeff Goldblum. That's it.
Make it not suck. I'm begging you. Far Cry 6. Okay, we like our villains a lot.
Miss Tilly.
We're up to
afraid
Ubisoft
I
still
only have a
didn't
few
talk
minutes.
about their
Do it.
workplace issues, so
Yeah.
cool.
Yaravision was hijacked.
I don't really feel like I have a great grasp of this game at all. After so much media, they're just still talking about the villain.
Bureau saves millions of lives.
Because that's all that they have to lean
Care
on.
where it comes from.
You were in prison.
Because they know as soon as you get into the actual game, it's not going to really matter as much. Because like that's how every Far Cry game since Far Cry 4 has been. You talk up the villain ahead of the game's release, and then you go play the game, and then it's just the same Far Cry thing, just in a different area and a different map.
We spent a lot more time talking about Gamescom than I thought we would. Holy shit.
Well, if you
Then-
want, we can skip to like the real, like the main event, the
Yeah.
main event.
This is garbage. This is fine. This is fine.
Jet actually looks pretty interesting. Like the dudes that made Sword and Sorcery EP, making an exploration game. I'm kind of into it.
This is fine. I'm looking forward to it. New World gets more gameplay. I don't care about New World, honestly. Does anyone else?
They put Alloy in Genshin Impact.
Marvel Future Revolution.
That's a mobile game.
do you have a phone? Cool. Also, do you have a phone? Cool. I think this is still, do you have a phone? Cool. Deadmau5 is releasing over, okay, virtual hub for
Deadmau5 is a
Hangouts.
piece of shit, so fuck him.
Yeah, so
Oh.
this is going to be in a game called Core, which is Roblox-esque in that it's just a sandbox social experiment, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And Deadmau5 is getting his own little corner of it.
Cool.
I mean,
Uh,
I've got to have a little bit of love for him. He is local to where I grew up.
So is Drake. You don't have to love him.
I mean, there is one song by Drake that I liked. I mean, it was where it was Bad Bunny featuring Drake, but sure.
Age of Empires 4. I'm kind of excited for it. Valheim, sure. You have phones, right? Dead Stranding Director's Cut.
I was going to say, oh wait, you skipped Sifu, which is another game that I'm super excited about. We don't have to talk about too much about it, but Sifu, the developers of Absolver, are making another hand-to-hand combat game that looks dope as shit. Okay, fucking give me whatever Bridges name, whatever his name is. What's his Bridges? Something about Bridges.
My brain
Norman
just keeps saying
Bridges.
Jeff, and it's not. It's not Jeff Bridges.
Norman Reedus Bridges.
Put him in a goddamn catapult. Sure, why not?
Into it.
There's new weapons. There's missions.
They found a way to put the VR missions into Death Stranding.
Oh.
Basically, this director's cut, as I'm gathering, is where people who have already played the game
Hmm.
can now see at the point at which the rest of the studio drew the line and said, Kojima, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yes and no, because I will say this. A lot of that game is you like traversing all these different areas and that sort of thing, and having to manage like your weight and your distribution or whatnot. A lot of the tools that they're putting into this director's cut negate a lot of that experience,
Hmm.
which makes me very, very curious about like why they're doing this in this version of like of the game and not stuff that was in the original release. Kojima himself has kind of pushed back on this being called a director's cut.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily see it that way, but like they put in the catapults for you to catapult cargo across areas to make it
Mm.
easier to carry more. They've added thrusters so that you can like traverse vertically much more easy. Like they've added so many different like quality of life things to this that honestly makes me not want to try it because I'm frustrated they weren't in the first game. Even though I enjoyed the first game, I would have much rather had catapults. I could do
I-
without the motorcycle races, but the catapults,
I
please.
like that they didn't have the stuff in the first game. Made you really consider what the fuck you were doing.
I don't know. I like it, but
Mm.
I just don't know why you would do that stuff in this version of the game to like sell people who have already played it to play it again in this version.
Like, maybe they should have had this stuff included in, like, a super secret easy mode of the original game.
Or add it as DLC.
Here's a statement nobody asked for. You can also revisit and redo boss fights as much as you want via Sam's private room.
Yeah, you can.
I don't want to redo any of those boss fights. That's the main reason I don't think I'm picking up this
No.
version.
No, I'm curious to see what this added mission is. Like, you get a more of an idea about the mules. It looks like maybe, and that seems interesting because that's really the one group that you don't really learn much about in the original game. So that seems intriguing. But outside of that, like, if you have a PS5 and want to play Death Stranding, here you go.
Yeah. I forget if I said that Norman Serenas was talking about Death Stranding 2 or not. Did I say that?
No, you didn't. But yes, he kind of teased that there's a sequel.
It's in talks, apparently. So
Oh no.
my brain turned off for a half second and glitched out. If there is a Death Stranding 2, I am definitely the first in line for Death Stranding 2. I apparently like pain a lot. I don't think I will ever play Death Stranding Evolution or whatever they want to call it. But it sounds goofy as fuck, and that's what you want from a Kojima game, right?
In a way.
Doing a bunch of silly shit. I want to jump around a bit here. April is having a renaissance as well. We never talked about the Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl game, but apparently April is also coming to the All-Stars game.
Dope.
Yeah, like, I almost want to try this out. They definitely put in a lot of the old, like, 90s characters to get the old fucks like me interested.
I mean, they also announced that Cat Dog is going to be in the game, which
I'm sure somebody wanted that.
I am the one who wanted that. Me.
I will fully admit, growing up, like, Nickelodeon wasn't a thing up here,
Oh.
unless you had the really expensive cable packages. CBS and Fox were our Saturday morning cartoons.
Mm.
And YTV. But I will fully admit, because my sister was a child during the era, I want to play this game to beat the hell out of SpongeBob.
I want to play this game to play as Powdered Toastman. He was my favorite character as a kid. Alright, I'm going to work a little bit backwards here. So, WarioWare got a trailer. And it looks dope. It's a fucking WarioWare game. Of course I'm going to like it. Of course I'm going to get it. Of course I'm going to have fun with it. And this one is multiplayer, and that's cool. You get to play as each one of the weird characters that have evolved over the WarioWare series. And they each have unique little abilities to do during the minigames.
That's how micro games work.
I like it.
I'm always down for more WarioWare, honestly.
Yeah. It's hard to be sad with WarioWare game. There's never been a bad WarioWare game. There's been a few mediocre WarioWare games, but you're always in for at least a decent time. It's always fun. We also got the drop for a new trailer for Metroid Dread. It looks dope.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
Sick.
I still want Metroid Prime 4 more. I really do. But Samus looks so fucking cool in this one. And she's fighting the Chozo for some fucking reason. I don't know. I can't wait to see fucking why. And Krieg is back. That big motherfucker. Why is he back? Didn't we kill him twice already? I don't know.
It's Metroid.
Yeah. Do it again, bitch. How many times you killed Ridley now? Stop asking questions. We rebuilt him from a fucking Talon. Fine. We brought back Ridley again.
We never learn.
I am very sorry, Lindsay. This brings out a lot of feelings in me.
I'm totally fine with this. This is actually quite amusing. I've never actually gotten to play any of the Metroid games. I know. Take away my nerd card. Go ahead.
It is
Nah, we're not in
fine.
that business.
You don't have to have played all of the games. Like, there's so many series I haven't fucking touched either, and people are like, how have you not played those? I don't know, I have a job and have other interests besides video games, I guess. But yeah, Metroid. Bring it. Continuing to go backwards on my original plan here, because I think I'll leave the sad points for last and go completely backwards. That is not what I wanted. I don't know how I copied and pasted that. Anyway. So, I don't know if anyone else has seen this, but there is a 45-minute documentary out there on Wada Games and Heritage Auctions, comparing it, a lot of the same players that, fucked around with the coin market and the postage market back in the 80s are involved in this current thing going on, and we've talked about it a few times before. There's a Super Mario Brothers recently that went for like $2 million. It wasn't even one of the ones with the fucking sticker shit. Prices of these like graded collector's items have become fucking ridiculous. Of course, nobody who is a journalist is really going to go in hard on this story, because there is literally no proof other than there are people that we know did a lot of shit before who are currently involved with WADA games and Heritage Auctions. who are two of the big players in the current pricing wars for fancy boxed games. I don't know that I have a huge problem with this.
I do.
'Cause-
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Finish your
Yeah,
thought.
no, it's. I don't know if this is really going to affect the cost of collecting for most of us. I don't know how many people are going out of their way to go buy a WATA graded 9.8 Super Mario Brothers 3 box.
So here's the issue that this presents is that yes, we are not us three as a subsection of the gaming populace. We are not interested in dropping millions of dollars for like 9.8 graded NES games. No.
Mm.
But whenever you artificially create a bubble to jack up prices on something so that you can pocket it before the bubble bursts, that has a ripple effect across the entire industry, across the entire community. This could we could potentially see spikes in collectors items rising through all grades because of this. Also, this has the potentiality to take advantage of a lot of people and siphon money from them. There's also been reports of some of these places. I don't know specifically about WATA or Heritage, but there are some places that are selling shares in a
Yeah, that's
rare game
gross.
that's going up for auction. So you can buy a share in it and get a share of the payout whenever it sells at auction, which seems fucked
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. Like all this, it's the same thing we saw with like all the big stock story last year.
Mm.
It's really just it's a community coming together to artificially inflate the price of something, so that you could eventually whenever you feel like you're at a peak, you can cash out, pull in your millions of dollars, and there's always going to be a subset of that community that is going to be taken advantage of, and they are going to lose out on money because of this. You know.
Yeah. There's a lot here that I really don't like, and Jim Halperin is a lot of that, but also, like you said, the article does mention the platform itself, where people are buying into owning a certain part of different games. In fact, the Super Mario Brothers that sold for 2 million, they had to have a vote on whether to sell it, and 40% of the people who owned that game wanted to hold out because they thought they could raise it higher. More than $2 million for a copy of Super Mario Brothers. Not even the original, still black box, sure, but not the black box with the little fucking seal that tells you it was first print.
See, this all equates to a collector's version of insider trading.
Hmm.
Like there's no good faith in a lot of this because you have so many of the same people cycling into ownership and shares of the stuff or operating the organizations that put the auctions together. Like it's just there's not a lot of transparency to it, and it does raise a ton of questions about the financial practices going on.
Yes, absolutely. I do personally feel like people who aren't collecting full inbox mint condition copies of these games probably aren't going to have much to worry about, other than what we have already seen over the last few years of prices increasing before we had WATA games dealing with this, or Heritage collections. It's going to get more expensive to collect old games as this goes on, especially still functioning old games are going to get more expensive, and especially right now we're in the middle of seeing N64 and PlayStation 1 games go fucking skyrocketing because the kids that grew up with these games now have money and can buy back their childhoods that they sold.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, so I do think there are definitely some bits of insider trading going on in the collectors community. For sure, especially around the WADA games being sold. It sucks. There's not a great way to say that, but who's surprised? And while we're not talking about things that we are unsurprised about, the Amico Intellivision is on another round of fundraising. I believe while we're out, the Intellivision got delayed. It was either on the last day we're in or after. The Intellivision has now been delayed. It might possibly be released to early Kickstarters at the end of the year. Possibly. We don't know for certain. There's no date on it anymore.
This thing's never going to get released. The people that got invested have been bilked. They will receive a brick in a cardboard box. Like, this is so bad.
Yeah, behind the scenes, people have been talking about, like, the controllers being either entirely busted and not working, like, one-to-one. You're not moving your controller and getting reaction on TV. Like, you know, people have been used to for the last 20 years with motion control sensing items. That the controllers themselves haven't even been finished yet, and that they're little phone tablets so far that are working as the in place for it. There has only been one working Amico Intellivision ever seen live, and it had huge problems, and it wasn't even a full build. They have not put out a developer's kit yet. Holy shit.
But they got on that E3 stage.
Oh, man. And yet there are still people that are still bilking for this because this is the console they have wanted their whole ass lives. It's amazing to me.
Who knows?
But hey, we're getting another round of money going into the Intellivision. So if you're a smart investor, you can put some money into the Intellivision Amico here and make some money back potentially on, you know, once it starts selling on the full market. Clearly no money to be made back from the Kickstarter, but hey, you know, this is going to go to the world and people are going to love it. I love making fun of the Amico. It is wonderful. Oh, this is my favorite part. RFID enabled for physical media integration with gameplay and NFT marketplace.
Of course they're getting in on the NFT bullshit at the tail end of its relevancy.
How
The better
the
question
fuck?
is, do they even know what that means?
I don't know. How the fuck do you put an NFT into video game? What the fuck does that mean?
You don't put it into video game, you sell NFTs of the video game.
What?
Ow. Like, that actually hurts my head just trying to
Here's a
wrap my brain
screenshot
around
of
that.
Earthworm Jim. You want to buy this?
So, they're trying to do it like the old school where you used to be able to buy animation cells
Maybe. I mean,
before everything was digital.
basically. I mean that's what I would imagine. Like I don't think anybody knows for sure nobody knows for sure what their plans are outside of, you know, the brain trust at Intellivision right now, but like, you know, that's where my mind goes to immediately.
Yeah,
This is gonna be a fucking train wreck, and I love every stop on the way. It's great. I love it. Feed
I
me
am
more stupid bullshit.
I'm still fully of the opinion that this whole game system was like some result of the ultimate acid trip amongst a million other illicit drugs. And he went, yeah, we can sell that. Start work.
No. Tommy Tallarico he actually is a complete and total teetotaler. He is incapable of not working because then people wouldn't love him. And he needs people to tell him how much they love him because he is the gamer man. Anyway, I wanted to do the cringy sad part in the middle of the show, but I instead wanted to have more fun and keep the laugh train going because we gotta talk about Activision Blizzard before we end the show today. We're gonna start initially out with the changes they put out to Overwatch to ease our way into the story. McCree is being dropped. Blizzard is no longer going to use any staff names in the characters anymore because they have been burned far too many times on allowing people to name their characters because they hire shitbags.
Well, they don't exclusively hire.
They don't but they hire some shitbags.
There's a good amount.
Yeah, there's like a
Counted
5 to 10% ratio.
Yeah, but no, like this is the move that people wanted. This is the right decision to drop the McCree name, rename the character, and and I think it's a good move on their part. It's the only move they coming out of this.
I mean, there have been some good things that came out of all of this. They have changed up some characters. They have fired or gotten rid of a lot of people. But yeah.
I mean, yes, they have started addressing things, but as we are about to discuss, there's more to this lawsuit now. And honestly, there's more if you just follow some of the people that are still working at Activision Blizzard right now on Twitter. Like there are still plenty of nefarious practices going on as it relates to HR there at the company. So specific to the lawsuit, though, the California DFEH amended their lawsuit last week, shortly after we got done with our weekly broadcasts, to expand some of the purview of the lawsuit itself and also make some new claims against the company. I'll just run through the bullet points real quick. So they now allege that the company suppressed evidence and interfered with the government with their investigation. Most notably by alleging that Activision Blizzard shredded internal documents related to complaints and investigations, and they violated the law by not holding on to those documents. They also, where was it? They also, Lord, I just had it with me. Sorry. They also specifically highlighted the Wilmer Hale investigation that is happening now. You know, Wilmer Hale, the law firm of Amazon union busting fund notoriety. They criticized that investigation going on right now, saying it directly interferes with its own investigation of the company. They also allege that Activision Blizzard has engaged in, quote, secret settlements of sexual harassment claims, non-disclosure agreements, and non-disparagement agreements with severe penalties against employees. Those agreements require employees to inform the company before they speak with the DFEH. They also amended the complaint to expand the purview of what they classify as an Activision Blizzard employee. They are now including contract workers that are with the company in what they define as in the encompassment of who they'd see as an employee there, or at least how they define it in the lawsuit. And yeah, I think that's the bullet points of like what they changed with the lawsuit specifically. So yeah, they basically have been like, yo, Y'all are still doing fucked up stuff over there. Y'all are impeding our investigation, willfully impeding it, and this is not going away.
Yeah, it's there's a lot going on here, and Activision is in all sorts of trouble. And good. Fucking Vester in that trouble. Just Activision Blizzard hasn't been a great company in years. And fuck them. Hi.
Yeah.
Grab my cat
I'm
for
not
combat
really
one.
going to comment on this because I still have so much pent up rage that no.
The
No.
only thing I will say, and then we can, because we're running up on time here, we can move on to the end of the show, is that shredding documents, not the most innocent look.
No. It's not a good look for literally anybody ever, but okay.
No.
And Blizz right now is also going, oh, well, those investigations were closed, so we didn't need to keep the documentation anymore. We weren't trying to hide anything. And it's like,
That's not how that works.
no.
Yeah, you're a giant company. You have plenty of room, I promise you, to store all of the information.
You have
it.
a very large cloud. You can
Mhm.
keep this stuff.
Yeah.
Dumbasses.
But hey, we haven't done this in a while, and pardon me, I'm now covered in cat hair.
Kitty, 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 kitty.
We cannot. He is just shoving his butt all up in my face, and that's delightful. We cannot, unless we're having an entire show talking about Blizzard Entertainment and Activision and all of that good stuff. But we usually do not finish a Mr. Video Game live super show brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment without telling you about the Mr. Video Game of the week. What is the MVG? How do we title an MVG for the week? Well, Mr. Video Game is the thing, person, place, noun. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's something, whether it's good, it's bad, it does not matter. You looked at it, we looked at it, and we went, holy shit, that is video games right there. That is the video game economy right there. And our MVG of the week for August the 30th, 2021 is you.
I will not crank that. I will not crank anything.
That Soldier Boy.
No. Atari told me no.
So, Soldier Boy goes on to Instagram and says, "Hey fam, I own Atari now. Look at these papers. I have bought Atari. I am the new CEO. I'm the first rapper to ever own a video game company. Yeah." And Atari just tweeted out, "Nah. We know everyone wants to be the CEO of Atari, but we already have one. So, that's nice for you."
So you're telling me the rapper who said that he was releasing his own gaming console last year, but was really in actuality just a bootleg Xbox that actually wasn't anything substantial or even got released to my knowledge, also is now coming back with another bold, brash claim about a video game thing just so he can get his name back out there.
So, my man holds up a contract, and Reddit looked at this contract. And what the contract is actually for is Atari tokens. Now, if you're not familiar with Atari tokens, because I sure as hell wasn't until...
He bought the Atari fucking crypto.
Yeah.
He bought the Atari crypto.
He bought a controlling stake in the Atari crypto. $140 million worth.
No.
Yeah.
No. Bad.
Soldier Boy had to spend his money.
No, I mean...
But that seems like a bad call.
Yeah.
Yeah, for what it's worth, like, $140 million talking about buying a company, not a lot of money. Talking about buying bad crypto, way too much money.
God.
He intentionally obtuse, or is he actually just this dumb?
I don't know. He didn't used to be this dumb.
Here's the thing. It's not. I don't think this is a question of dumb. This is
Mm.
a question of Soldier Boy just continuing to be a troll.
You think
Like
so?
this. It's literally is just like, to me, this all of his instances where he's been trying to stake a claim in the video game world has just been an attempt to, like, create a PR stunt.
Mm.
Honestly, that's how I see it, at least. So I don't know. It's just.
I can
This
see
is-
it. He may be Kanyeing himself a little bit to get some attention back.
Oh no, it's not Kanye anymore.
No?
It's just yeah.
Oh yeah. It's yay. As
He's
in the
filed
biblical yay.
he's filed papers to have it legally shortened.
I'm aware.
Well, considering that Ye continues to hang around Marilyn Manson and DaBaby, that's super biblical.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, super Jesus-like on his part,
Yeah.
selling $200 t-shirts.
God damn.
Full of holes.
Mhm. But boy,
God, I'm old.
that is a distraction. Yeah. So, Soldier Boy. No, I don't think you're an idiot, but I do think you're trying to make a whole lot from something, and that does make you our Mr. Video Game of the Week. So, good job. Dropping that out there and reminding us how much money you have by doing this with a fat stack of 20s. I believe those are 20s even. I can believe that much. My man made a lot of money off of doing the Superman.
That he did.
I am too white for it, but you
I just can't dance.
know.
That's why you'll never see me on TikTok.
You won't see me on TikTok for a lot of reasons. One of it is I'm 38 years old! That has been Mr. Video Games for August the 30th, 2021. Merwin, any final words?
As always, don't forget to love each other from a socially distanced perspective. Wear a mask, wash your hands, be the change you want to see in the world, and just be cool.
Wonder Boy, any words for us this evening?
Second, what Lynn said, follow me on Twitter at WonderboyOTM. Check out my Queer Pro Wrestling podcast at LGBT in the Ring every Thursday on the Outsports Podcast Network. Follow that at LGBT Ring Pod on Twitter. And yeah, just keep being cool, I guess. Get vaccinated if you haven't. Damn it.
Don't take fucking horse worm removal
Oh my god.
pills. It's a bad idea.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
leave the
Leave
horse
it to the
dewormer.
horses.
Leave the horse dewormer alone.
Thank you everybody for coming. We will be back tomorrow, at least myself and Wonder Boy. I don't think the Merwin will be here because of work scheduling issues, but we'll figure this out. But me and Wonder Boy will be back tomorrow to play some form of video games together to amuse the masses, and we'll figure out what we do with all the other stuff at a later time.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. God, so many people are here today. Kelverin, John Borg, Josh, Nomi, Graves. I feel like I'm missing some people in there, but thank you all people who talked, all the people who don't do a talk and just listen to the stream. We see you. We love you. You don't got to communicate with us, but we're glad that you're here for the ride. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.